But
well, the Liam Neeson story is a perfect example.
Let's go there. Okay,
let's go there. A perfect example of a story where, if you were Liam's friend, you would go, "Don't tell that one. Don't tell that one." He's like, "But I want to be honest."
Yeah.
Like, don't. You could be honest with me. I'm not going to judge you. If you tell me that someone got raped and you went out with a baseball bat for a week looking for a black man to beat up,
to kill.
I'd be like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, man. Like, what the fuck was going through your head at that point in time? Like, that's terrible. Like, yeah, like, I feel awful about it. I can't believe that was me." But it didn't happen. Nothing happened. And now, people are calling him a racist and they don't want him in movies. And
well, I mean, this is fascinating to me because, again, this is a much larger problem with massive implications. We need to think through the whole process of redemption for people in our society, right? Like we have to understand what are the criteria for successful apologies and for forgiveness, right? Because especially, I mean, we're in a world where people are having their reputations destroyed and their careers threatened for tweets they sent as teenagers.
Yes.
Right. And more. This is to Dorsey's point. Things are not disappearing online anymore. And at a certain point, everyone. There's just going to be a 360 kind of panopticon view of everyone's life. There are people who have grown up on social media, and everything is out there. And I mean, the irony here for me is that you have progressives and people on the far left who receive a disclosure like Liam Neeson's. Let's take his, and they just want to see him burned alive, right? Let's just do the Wicker Man on this guy because this is so awful. And yet, alongside that, these same people on the left are people who have as a genuine ethical norm the rehabilitation of murderers, right? Like you could be somebody who spent 20 years in prison for a crime you admit you committed, and there's this norm around redemption, and so there's no way to square those two things.
Well, they're constantly holding these two contradictions, right? I mean, here's another one: women's rights and support of the hijab. I mean, what's going on there? How do you do that? Don't be Islamophobic, but also support women's rights and gay rights.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think Eric Weinstein, our mutual friend, calls these the Hilbert problems for social justice warriors. I mean, David Hilbert was a very famous mathematician who, at the turn of the 19th century, posed a set of problems in mathematics that were just the on his list of the most desirable questions, the hardest questions and the most consequential questions to answer. And so, Eric, being a mathematician, has flipped that around ironically and said, these are the questions that social justice warriors have to answer. And there are these impossible oppositions of this sort. But so the Liam Neeson thing, and forgive me if there's some detail that has come out that I'm not aware of, but my understanding of it is he had a friend who was raped, and then he reported this state of mind, this murderous state of mind he was in, where he was walking around with, I think he calls it a kosh. I mean, that's the British word for it's like a small
pipe.
Metal club, right? It's like a blackjack, or like another term for it, I think. And looking for a black guy to kill, just hoping someone's going to come out of the woodwork and threaten him so that he could, kill this guy in this act of instrumental violence because his friend had been raped by a black guy, right? So it's like any black guy will do. Now that's sort of like the extra horrific wrinkle to the story, right? Now, and he's confessing this as a kind of a symptom of transient mental illness, at least as far as I know. It's like he's horrified by the fact that he was in this state of mind, right? Can you imagine? Like Liam Neeson, an actor, I have everything to lose, and although I don't remember at what point in his life he said this happened. Can you imagine that I was in this state of mind, right? And this is, as you say, an all too honest disclosure, but it is damn interesting, right? And it is the kind of thing that we should be able to talk about, right? And it's not. And the fact that this is becoming synonymous with racism seems just wrong, given how he described her, at least how I've heard this, because he's saying, listen, if this had been an Armenian guy or an Italian or a Japanese guy, I'd be looking for one of them, right? I mean, what this was, at least on his telling, is the virus of instrumental violence. I mean, the virus of, like, I mean, this is how every blood feud ever in human history gets started. It's like someone from your tribe killed my brother, and now what I want to do is kill anyone from your tribe, right? It doesn't matter who, right? And that's, clearly as toxic as it gets, ethically, but that's not racism, right? We have a word for it. It's instrumental violence. But obviously he's getting totally pilloried over this. But we just need to figure out how to talk about how people can redeem themselves once something this unsavory is revealed about their past, whether they reveal it or whether it's just found out about them.
Yeah, I mean, it is racism though, right? Because he's specifically looking for a black guy. I mean, I understand that it's a part of the other tribe.
No, but it doesn't suggest
that he has a predisposed
that he feels one way or another about black people. It's like if you told me. Yeah, I mean, he could have said, again, it could have been an Irish guy, right? Or it could have been, I guess he's Irish. Is he Scottish or Irish? It could have been an English guy, right? It could have been like any type, right? It's like the salience of the tribe is what he was reacting to, at least in his description. I don't know why you wouldn't take him at his word, given that he didn't have to say any of this in the first place, right? I mean, like, this is an amazingly honest and unnecessary disclosure, but it's and I don't think people would think of it as racism if the story simply was, she got raped by a cop, and I was just hoping to go kill a cop, right? Right. The same story, right? So yeah, I mean, but we're so trigger happy in our outrage with respect to anything like that.
Why do you think that is? Like, what is going on? Because outrage seems to be more in season than it's ever been in my lifetime. I don't ever remember outrage being so just such a it's recreational.
Yeah.
There's
well, I mean, it's back to Jack. I mean, it has a lot to do with social media and Twitter in particular.
Yeah.